Hi everyone, Kieran Brown here and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how to count calories. Now, I used to have this idea in my mind that counting calories was incredibly difficult and time consuming. And it wasn't until I actually tried it that I realized, this isn't actually as difficult as I first thought. And even better than that, once you do it enough, eventually you don't even have to do it at all. And that's the point where I'm kind of at now. And I'll also talk about the alternative that I use now, which is far, far quicker than counting your calories each day. So what we'll discuss in this video is why count calories in the first place, what you need to count calories, where it becomes difficult, and I'll also talk about the alternative that I use now. So why count in the first place? I think there are two main reasons. And first of all is for educational purposes. When I first started counting calories, it actually really shocked me, like how many calories some foods have and how much certain food choices affect your macros. And, you sort of realize why good foods are good. Like one huge realization was like chicken breasts, like the protein to calorie ratio on that is just insane. And it was only through like counting calories and actually taking interest in the macros that I found that out. And you'll have a lot of realizations as well. And second of all, speed, and that's speed of your transformation. If you're able to pretty accurately track the amount of calories that you're eating, then you'll achieve your transformation quicker than if you were like winging it, for example. So what do you need? You only really need three things, and that's barcodes, which you'll find on the packaging of the food, some scales to actually measure the food, and MyFitnessPal, the app, which I'm sure you've all heard of. Um, so basically, all you need to do is you get your scales, you put your plate or your bowl onto the scales, and then you zero it, and then you just add the foods in one by one. And before you put it in the bowl, or even after, to be honest, you just scan the barcode on the packaging through MyFitnessPal, put in the correct amount, and it will give you all your macros there. And the great thing is that once you scan a food once, then the app will remember it, and you can also save like set meals as well if you're eating the same things every day. You literally just have to do this once, and then it just becomes super easy after that because it's already there. So that's all there is to it, really. And sometimes you'll scan a food and it will pop up saying like, sorry, we don't recognize this barcode in this food. So you might have to create it yourself. But it's not too much of an issue. And again, once you do it once, then it's saved on there forever. So where counting calories becomes difficult, it's easy enough if, for example, when I was doing my first cut, for the most part, I was just eating the same things like every day and I was cooking it myself and it was just super easy. But where it became difficult was when I had a takeaway, for example, or went to a restaurant and had a meal or had someone else cooking for me. And I've got an asterisk there because if you have someone else cooking for you, but it's like your set meal plan, then that's great. Keep on doing that. But it's when they cook something else for you and you can't like scan things. Same with all of them. It's real difficult to actually measure and count these calories, which is why the easiest thing to do is just to try and minimize these, particularly during that initial like 8 to 12 week leaning down phase. And yeah, I've got an example there on the right from the Cheesecake Factory. I found this on a subreddit called Calorie Count, and this is basically just a bowl of spinach, and it was 650 calories. It's obviously not just the spinach; it's probably got a heap of butter and oils, stuff like that, which bump up the calories a lot. But it goes to show, like, even low calorie meals which you think are super low calories, they might not be. And if you didn't know that was 650, there's no way that you would be able to guess that and track it accurately. And it's not forever counting calories, as I mentioned earlier. I did it for the first maybe 10 weeks or so. However, at the start, once you get like your set meals in, you don't have to do them again. It's only when you eat something different and mix things up, that's when you have to do it again. And I managed to lose 18 pounds in that time. But then after that, you just kind of, you're able to eyeball it. And like I was saying earlier, you it's like education almost, and you just get better and better with practice. And eventually you don't even have to do it really. Um, Moving on to the alternative that I use now, and that's weighing myself every day. I did this anyway, even if I am counting calories, I still do this. And instead of that, instead of counting the calories every day, you just have weekly weight parameters, and you basically adjust from that. So what I mean is, let's say you're trying to lean down, and you have your set meals through the week, and you end up putting on weight. Well, you now know that you need to change something, and you can make the adjustment and then go again. And this sort of ties back to what I said earlier about having quicker transformations when you do count calories, and that is definitely the case. But eventually, I think this is a fine alternative. So here are the parameters, like the metrics that I personally use when either trying to cut or lean bulk. So for cutting, it's 1% of total body weight per week. And for lean bulking, it's a quarter to half a kilo, excuse me, a week, which is around half to 1 pound. So let's say you've counted calories for around like 4 weeks, and your main meals, you can sort of eyeball it. You've got a good gist of how many calories there are and how much protein is in there. Then eventually you can just start to look at the scale weight. And again, if you're not in these ranges, then something needs to change. And if you're within these ranges, then you just carry on until you're not. It's as simple as that, really. So in summary, what I did was I counted calories for around 10 weeks, leaned down to a point where I had visible abs, and I was happy with like my lean list. And then I was ready to do a lean bulk. And then I just went by weight after that. But yeah, I highly recommend trying it for a bit. It's not as difficult as you might think. It wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. So if you're interested in some one-to-one coaching and going through your own body transformation, then click the first link in the description. Apart from that, that's everything for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.